Hey guys, today we're going to be analyzing the tactical side of Carabao Cup final between Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur. First off, Man City started off with the formation 4-2-3-1 and Spurs kept their formation 4-3-3 all throughout their game. So when Man City had possession, they would usually transform into their usual possessive formation, which was to put Cancelo into the middle and push the other players wide, and same thing on the opposite side. And they would resort to having a 3-back with Walker joining the other 2 center-back. So this is how they would set up against Spurs. Now let's move this structure into their opponent's side and see how it looks. So in possession in Tottenham's side, this is how Man City's structure looked like. As you can see, you have the double pivot, but because the narrow center mids of Tottenham Hotspur, when the ball came into the middle, it was very hard to progress just because of the pressure and just the amount of people that Tottenham had in that space. So because of the narrow center mids of Tottenham, they couldn't really progress down with the center mids. What Man City resorted to do is they would actually keep their 2 center backs really wide, basically making it hard for Son and Lucas Moura, because if Son and Lucas Moura were to press these 2 players and try to cut out the passing lane, these passes to the players in the half spaces will be open. So the wingers of Tottenham Hotspurs kept it a little bit narrow, and they had to resort into playing with the center backs, and the players in the half spaces would actually come down like so, and when they received the ball, they would have a lot of space, and it could create 2v1 situations when these center mids would be late to cover. Man City resorted then to playing these wingers, and it was usually Foden, Sterling, and Mahrez. When they take the ball, they would try to take the defender on 1v1, and it was very successful. They were able to penetrate and have bodies in to try to score like that. So we saw a lot of those situations for Man City. So when Tottenham had the ball, it was a totally different story. Tottenham did not try to progress from the back. They often resorted to play the long ball to either Lucas Moura or Kane. And the reason for that is, first of all, Man City pressed really well. They defended with 4-4-2 with Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden as the forward players, and they were really good at closing down passing lanes, as they always are, and try to limit any time and space for any of the back 4 players. And when that happened, it gave a little bit more insecurity for the defenders to play through the middle. So they resorted to almost 90% of the time playing the long ball to Lucas Moura or to Kane. The problem with that is, even when they try to do long passes, even let's say when Lloris tried to do long balls, Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden will try to give less time and space for any of the passers. So because of the limited time given, the passing accuracy of the players were kind of lacking. And so when the pass is going to Lucas Moura, it will be closed down really fast. When it goes to Kane was often isolated by himself, so it's basically 2v1 battle he has to fight. And there weren't a lot of players around him, so Tottenham didn't fare well with the long balls as well. So in the first half, essentially what basically happened was Man City was creating a lot of chances and Tottenham was busy defending it. So in the beginning of second half, one thing changed, and that change was Harry Kane. Harry Kane started to come into the game a little bit more, and he seemed to have a little bit more influence, which created a ripple effect throughout the team, having a little bit more confidence. One thing that he did was to stay a little bit towards the left side near Son, and when the long ball came to him, he had a little bit more options to flick the ball or try to pass it to one of the players nearby. And because he was near to Son, if he didn't win the ball, the ricochets or the ball that missed him would find Son, and we saw that they were a little bit more better with holding on to the second ball in the second half. For Tottenham, when they're defending in a low block, they would be very, very deep. So they would have their players come down to around this area. So we all understand why they would keep this kind of structure, just because of the quality of Manchester City and their ability to penetrate down the middle. So they would employ a lot of players in the middle, the central area, to limit that. However, there are issues with this kind of way of playing. Let's say City loses the ball and Lloris has the ball here. City would try to counter press right away, and because the forward players are even also low position, Lloris can't find these players very easily. Let's say Dyer has the ball, the City players will try to condense the space as fast as possible, limiting any passing routes, resorting to either losing the ball or making a mistake with their passing. However, as I mentioned before, Harry Kane came into the game a little bit more in the second half, and their transition game also benefited from that. So they were able to find Harry Kane, and when Harry Kane gets the ball, he would often be able to hold on to the ball, fight the pressure, and try to find either Son or some of the midfield players so that they can play the counterattack. However, that also didn't work out too well, just because of the form that the two wingers were in. I would say Lucas Moura and Son didn't have the best game, and when Harry Kane had the ball, Son would sometimes take too many touches and kind of slow down the game. I think when transition is being able to succeed, they have to use the speed and actually exploit the space. However, today Spurs didn't do a really good job of doing that. The team didn't have the best chemistry. The touches, the passes, they were a little bit off, making the transitional game harder for themselves. I think all in all, Manchester City did deserve to win the final. They played an incredible game. The passing percentage alone was 90% compared to I think 75 or 77. Tottenham only had 2 shots, only 1 on target, so that just shows you the difference in quality. But I think it has to do with the mentality aspect as well. City came out in this game from beginning to end like they were the winners, and Tottenham was kind of missing that aspect, especially seeing some of the individuals form and their way of playing and their attitude and their body language didn't really show that they deserve to win this tie. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll probably make a video soon, and I'll see you then.